Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome back to another episode of Ceres Springs. And this time we are working in the kind of big guest area that I showed you in the last episode, with the first episode, because this is only a second episode. But you guys remember we have like the kind of like big island that kind of sticks up. It's like where the guests arrive with a helicopter and all that. And then we have this other area, which is going to be the big kind of guest hub area. And this building here was actually, we did this on stream, and this is our Hall of Subs, which if you remember in Aurora Zoo and Wildlife World before this one, the Hall of Subs is where people who subscribe to my Twitch channel, they get their name on like a little nameplate on the inside. But the building, the original building was like a very modern building. We hadn't really come up with like a theme for this zoo. I didn't know if we were going to really have one, if it's just going to be like a mix of different kinds of buildings and whatnot. And then I had this crazy idea of what if we theme this area to a city in Horizon Zero Dawn that's called Meridian. If you've played that game, you're familiar with that city, but it's this like great like desert looking city. It's got lots of brick and wood, and it's a really cool area of that game. And probably crazy as it sounds, it ended up like coming out really cool. We did a little bit, like I redid the gondola station on this side of the entrance, and then we do have peafowls in the middle of this area, but that was also an addition before like we kind of decided to do this Meridian theme, which is what I'm calling it. It's the Meridian theme. But yeah, so we had the Hall of Subs, which was completed. It was a done building, and it just was like, well, it totally doesn't go with this Horizon Zero Dawn Meridian theme. So instead of like deleting the whole building, I'm basically building a shell around it. So as you can see, I'm using a lot of the temple block pieces from the South America pack, using lots of Indian pieces like from that Indian theme, because those are all really good. From the African theme and the Africa DLC, those are probably going to be the primary pieces we use in this theme, because they all just work really well. So yeah, this is the Hall of Subs, but like I said, building a new shell around it, because I didn't want to delete the whole thing and start over, because the Hall of Subs, it took like 10 hours to build that. We did that on stream over the course of like 2 streams, and we kept the interior. I didn't change anything about the interior. It actually does have, we'll take a look at it when we get into the real-time gameplay, but it does have a full interior detail. There's a couple shops in there, so the guests can actually go in, but it's really just meant as a place for, for me to kind of showcase people who have subbed to my Twitch channel. But yeah, so I actually, after I decided I was going to do this Meridian theme, I booted up Horizon Zero Dawn, and I spent probably like an hour walking around that city in photo mode and just taking a bunch of screenshots of different parts of the city, just random like little streets or buildings, things that I thought looked really cool, and basing some of these builds off of those screenshots that I took. I'm not trying to like replicate any of the buildings exactly, but definitely very strongly influenced by it. Yeah, this building is definitely, it got a lot bigger. We also did the elevators. If you're familiar with the game, there's like 2 giant elevators that you can take that takes you up into Meridian. The only difference with our elevators is, because I didn't think of this until we had already kind of started building, they don't actually go up anywhere. Like, I have the 2 big towers and the elevator shafts, but they don't go up into like this part of the build. So the elevators in our zoo aren't really, I guess, elevators. It's more or less just like a big centerpiece of the zoo. And so I'm kind of taking it like, not like we're actually supposed to be in the city of Meridian, more like imagine if like Universal Studios or Disney made a Horizon Zero Dawn themed park. So rather than trying to recreate everything exactly in the game, it's more like, well, this is a place where the guests are going to go and have fun and see some really cool scenery, but it's not like, I don't know, meant to be like one-to-one, I guess. But yeah, that should about do it for the time lapse. So let's go ahead and jump into the real-time gameplay and check out what we've built so far. All right, and here is the completed new version of the Hall of Subs. You could almost call it the Palace of Subs, because it definitely got a lot grander than the original building. If you didn't see any of the live streams, I actually saved the original building as a blueprint because I was like, just in case, you know, I never know. Never gonna know if like maybe I'm gonna want to use it, so I saved it as a blueprint just in case. But you can definitely see how it's like much more modern looking than what it ended up being. It just didn't fit with the theme at all, so I do have it saved just in case. You never know, we might want to use it. But yeah, so the Hall of Subs, definitely it got a new makeover. And if you've played Horizon Zero Dawn, you know Meridian has like a big market I don't want to say everywhere, but has like little market stalls everywhere and shops and stands and things. So I'm trying to do that throughout the area as we go. So we have like little tables and vendors and things over here, kind of implied obviously and not usable, but as we walk in, you can see this is the Hall of Subs. So the interior still very much like a modern design, but I'm kind of okay with that. Since it's meant to be an actual building that's usable by the guests. I think it's okay that the interior is still has like a modern feel to it. So yeah, this is the wall where we have all of the names. So if you want to head over to my Twitch channel and hang out with us sometime, and if you enjoyed enough that you want to subscribe, you will get your own name on the wall here. But yeah, I think it's really cool. Like the interior. And the exterior definitely much grander than it used to be. So here is the peafowl habitat, which, like I said, well, they got lots of babies already. We did this before we came up with the Meridian idea, so you know, we'll kind of be building around it, but I definitely want to keep this here. You know, I like the idea. This is like the big guest hub area. I like the idea of having at least like one habitat kind of like right in the middle of it. I think being that this is a zoo, we should at least have one animal already. But then yeah, so here are the two elevators, and like I said, if you've played the game, what they do in the game is like you come down here, you ride up the elevator to the top, and then there's like from each elevator tower, there's like a path that comes out and connects you into the main part of the city. But like I said, since we didn't really think of this till after the fact, they're more or less just big showpieces. They, you know, obviously don't do anything, but this is where I thought it was a good idea to use these here, because the gondola fits like perfectly through the two arches there. So I thought that was pretty neat. I'm also super proud of the like counterweights here, trying to come up with pieces to use for that. Obviously the chains make sense, and like the gears, there are no gears in the game, so I had to make my own, and I'm pretty happy with those. I'm kind of proud of how I did that, actually. So yeah, the guests, you remember the last episode, this is the entrance area. This is how guests get into the zoo. I decided not to theme this to the Meridian theme. I figured this is just like a generic like entrance to the zoo, so we'll keep it a little bit more also generic and just kind of more modern looking. But then the guests, they get on the gondolas and they ride over, and you just see like the two towers there, which looks pretty sweet. And then the guests arrive, and immediately you're like just hit with the they actually get off over here. This is the big market area, and like I said, it actually came together once I figured out the pieces to use. The theme came together really well. So this is actually the queue back onto the gondolas. So they go through there, and then they come out to this side of the market, and then they go back up there. So also really like the arches. Kind of proud of that, not gonna lie. And then the guests walk in, and you're like, okay, cool. You got some peafowls, and you look over, and it's like, wow, it's like huge and towering. And that's kind of what I want to do with this area, because Meridian like just has buildings everywhere, and you can't really see outside of the building when you're in, or like outside of the city when you're inside of it, because just all the buildings around the outside are just, they're huge and they're massive. So we're definitely, it's, the scope of this build definitely got a lot bigger when I came up with this idea, but I think it's gonna be really cool. I think it's pretty original. I don't think anyone's done Horizon Zero Dawn in Planet Zoo, so you're only gonna get that here, and hopefully you guys will stick around as we continue to build. I know, being that this is Planet Zoo, you're probably expecting like habitats and stuff. We'll definitely get to those, but like I said, I want to get this done, and this has to go all the way around. So we got a long way to go there, but eventually, once this gets done, the rest of it is going to actually probably come together a lot quicker once we start getting into the habitats and the actual zoo part of the zoo, which is going to be all down here around it, because habitats like come together pretty quickly for me. It's these kinds of builds that take forever. The other thing I want to do, if you've played the game, in the area where Meridian is there's like these like just really tall, I don't even know what they're called, but just pieces of like terrain and mountains that just kind of stick up out of the, you know, out of the area, and I want to kind of try and recreate that as well. This was sort of a test to see, it's not like perfect. I'm probably gonna want to like throw in some like actual rock pieces to make it look a little bit more like a cliff and all that stuff. But yeah, I want to kind of do something like that throughout this as well. So yeah, I hope you guys think this is cool. I think it's pretty cool. We're still gonna do the hidden tropical oasis in the middle of the desert. I think, you know, this theme actually lends itself really well to that. So it's gonna be really cool. It's still gonna be like just lots of like tropical plants everywhere, and yeah, it's the first time in this game where I have a vision of like, I can like see the whole zoo. Usually it's like, well, I know what this part's gonna be, and then I'll think about the next part when we get to it. But this time around, it's like, okay, I can kind of see what everything is gonna be. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna leave this part here. And as I've mentioned all the time, if you do want to hang out and build with us live, you can head over to my Twitch channel. The link to that is always in the description below. I'm also considering doing maybe doing some YouTube streams. I haven't actually streamed on YouTube in about 3 or 4 years. I don't know how long it's been exactly. So maybe keep an eye out on those. If I do, it's gonna be either Monday or Tuesdays in the evening. I stream Mondays and Tuesdays on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be, instead of on Twitch, I'll probably just do it here on YouTube. So just keep an eye out for that. And yeah, so episode 2, Ceres Springs, Horizon Zero Dawn in Planet Zoo. Who thought we would ever see that? So yeah, as always, be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.